Mic wasn't on. It's too many steps. It's too many steps. It's too many steps. Okay, listen. We're live, but it's too many steps. It's too many. It's too much going on. I was so getting ready to talk. Someone said, "Don't talk yet. Look at the computer." And I looked at the computer, and lo and behold, yeah, girl. Yeah, so we're checking in. I'm testing 1, 2. It was raining earlier today, but I did set up my lights in case I needed to use them. But luckily, God went on and gave me a little sunlight. It just looks better with the sunlight. It looks way better with the sunlight. But anyway, I just want to... We was sure about to start this video and the mic wasn't on. Okay, so yeah, period. Anyway, we live and direct. Today we're talking about celebrity mindsets, right? Celebrity mindsets. I wanted to do like a case study of, you know, I'm not really into the celebrity culture. I feel like celebrity culture is kind of dying down with the increase of social media and everything like that, you know, but I still like to look at, you know, the most successful people as it relates to celebrities, because that's what people look into, right? That's what people look up to, celebrities. And I'm picking the ones that I like. I don't know about these new celebrities. I don't know who they are. I don't know what music be out. I be listening to old music, by the way. I don't be knowing what is going on. The little whippersnappers or whatever. Like, I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, but I don't want the video to be too long. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So the first celebrity, and hold on, let me get my notes because I had to keep some notes together. Okay, yes, okay. The first one we're gonna do is Ciara. Okay, I feel like, you know, we got to start with Ciara because Ciara, you know, her dating history was a little, you know, bow wow. And these just the people I know about, right? Because I'm a Libra, but I'm not into people's business like that, right? But, you know, it was bow wow, and he had a little problem, physical altercational type problems or whatever. We would never disparage anybody's character or anything like that. But, you know, had those type of problems. Then, I don't know if she dated 50 Cent. I don't know. But I do know that she moved on to Future, you know, and then Future, then she got Russell Wilson. And so before we even get into it, she had a prayer, right? So let's talk about her prayer, because I had actually pulled it up. She said that she prayed for a God-fearing man. You know, she prayed for discernment, wisdom, to really learn from the wisdom that I was gaining from the experience that I had gone through, right? She prayed for a man that loved kids, because obviously she had a child, you know. If you're gonna love me, you gotta love him. I think that's beautiful, right? Then she also prayed for a man that was worldly as well. That makes sense because she's in the entertainment industry. So she would need someone that understands her world and how she moves and different things of that nature. A lot of times, you know, celebrities or even just women, period, they're having success in their field. They get with a man and the man kind of want them to slow down, if you will, you know, so that they, you know, like you have to give up your career so that, you know, you could be his arm candy and different things of that nature. So that makes sense that she would put that in as her prayer. It says someone that was going to edify her world. That was important because she was ready to level up, right? Let me see if she was anything else. I think that's pretty much it. I feel like she was very descriptive, very, very descriptive, and she was willing to heal. That's another thing. Like, we can make a request and different things of that nature, but if we're not willing to heal and do our part when we're looking for a relationship, right, then you always end up in these dynamics where you're having repeating issues coming up in, like, it's a different person, but it's the same problem coming up in a relationship because you haven't healed yourself within. I had that, girl. I had that for myself. And so it's important for you to do the work on yourself and to be specific when you are setting intentions. I think something that's really good for Ciara is that she, hold on, let me go down here because I'm already down here. Hold up. Okay. I be getting distracted. Something that I really appreciate about Ciara is that she didn't allow the naysayers to tell her what was going to be available to her. Like the fact that she had just been in a relationship with Future and things like all of that negative press, especially from men or whatever, because she, you know, she's leaving him, right? She's leaving him and she's moving on with her son and everything of that nature. She didn't let what other people had to say about, you know, her, because women, like, when we decide to finally move on, it's like all this negative energy, like, oh, you think you too good, you this and you that. Never mind what he did. It's always victim blaming, right? Victim blaming. Well, what did you do? No, what did he do, right? What did he do? Okay, no, I'm so proud. She did not allow that to, you know, affect what she felt like she deserved. In fact, I love that Ciara is really out here advocating for women, Black women in relationships. I saw an interview that she did. She was encouraging who is that man? Who is that man? I don't know, but Chrissy, I don't know who the man is, but he did not marry her, and it's been 10 years, okay? And at this point, it's just like, for real, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I be wanting to know what will possess, you know, a woman to stay that long. If you've invested so much, right? You put yourself into the relationship. You can't see yourself without someone else. Whether he decides to make that, you know, commitment to you or not, is that you have put so much in yourself and you don't want to walk away, right? And so I really love this Ciara. Don't overstep and don't get in people's business, but at the same time, we do need to hold each other accountable for things like that, because that is not fair, right? Not fair to be in a relationship and you have little girls looking up, like celebrities. Even though celebrities, I feel like they live their own lives, they do, being in a public space, they do have some type of social responsibility to make sure that they are, because you have little kids looking up to you, right? You got little kids and things of that nature, so you want to make sure that you're making good choices, at least where everybody can see, right? It's a double sword. The other thing is she's been really taking Normani. I don't want to say Normandy. I want to put a D on there, but it's Normani, taking her under the wing as well, right? Now, I don't know if she's still with the relationship, but I like that she's taking on that mentorship role, because a lot of times, you know, Black women often feel that other Black women don't support, but seeing Black women support each other, especially in the realm of relationships, right, is wonderful. Like, we're staying on code and we're not accepting the minimum, right? No. High expectations and everything like that. So I really, really appreciate that about Ciara. Ciara is really doing it. And I also like that she's working with younger artists in the realms of like career, like mentorship, and just, you know, she's been able to stay relevant for so long. I'm not going to say that she's not relevant. It's just like, I feel like everybody is going to say, compare people to like Beyoncé or Rihanna and different things of that nature. But I like that she has been able to, you know, define success on her own terms, right? Instead of what other people have to say. And she's been able to use social media, right? Use the social media so that she can do what she needs to do with her brand. Like, I really like her brand. She's still putting out the music. She's still dancing. I think she's going to start a dancing. Like, she's capitalizing off of her whole vibe, like her whole brand, everything is together. And then I also like that in all of these people that we're going to be talking about today, they have been able to make sure that they're not only having, you know, the career, they're also proving that you can have love regardless. And then also your definition of love, your definition of success. And then the other thing is ageism too, because they are having the success even though they are little, and what is up there in age, right? Black don't crack. But I'm loving that they're redefining, you know, because I keep saying they, who is they? I mean, it's just this stigma that women at a certain age lose their value, if you will. And so they're redefining that. They're still out here having a wonderful time doing their thug thizzle, right? Yeah, so I really, really appreciate Ciara. So some things that we can do some takeaways, some things that we can do is to write down your list. We talked about it in our last video on propaganda that we're not accepting. Today, I feel like you need to go back over your list and make sure you have your non-negotiables and you stand by it. You stand by it. She is like the epitome of standing by your expectations. Somebody is going to meet the expectations. Somebody is. And then another thing we learned from Ciara, I hate to go back. Look, it's time out for all that rough energy, right? I don't want to say roughneck, but it's just like, it's not about clout anymore. It's not about popularity. It's about, what can this man do for you, right? Can he love you? And you know, like, that's what the energy is about. It's not about, oh, he look good and he have money, he got motion. No, it's not none of that. It's, how does he treat you in a relationship? Does he respect you, number one? Number two, like, it's all of that, right? So we're shifting the dynamics, because I'm not gonna lie, this is something that everybody's been talking about, and this is across demographics. It's back in the day, men didn't have to do too much. They didn't have to actually be likable, right? They did. In fact, our grandmothers didn't really like our, you know what I'm saying? The truth be told, they didn't really like them like that, for real. But now, because women have so much freedom and the women have the motion, we can go and get these jobs, and we in the boardroom and we're doing all of, we got our own bank accounts. We are not relying on other people to do anything for us, right? So yes, you have to be likable, because otherwise I could just be by myself, right? And we're seeing that. So it's a loneliness epidemic and all that, you know what I mean? So yeah, kudos to Ciara. She is really now we're gonna move on to Rihanna. When I think of Rihanna, I think, and it's probably Rihanna, I just want to make sure that I'm covering everything. When I think of her, I think of, hold on, I like for everything to be perfect. I don't know if y'all know that I am a perfectionist, because I really am. Truly, honestly. All right, so we're moving on to Rihanna. You know, when I think of Rihanna, I think of unapologetic, you know, having some battle scars and different things of that nature, but rewriting and shifting her own narrative, you know, rewriting her story, finding different avenues for success. Now, vocally, you know, but she was pop, okay? Rihanna was pop. I don't, look, she did it. She did all of that, period. And she was a hard worker. She was a very, very hard worker. I think she was releasing like 10 albums in 10 years. Like every year she had a new album. Like Rihanna was out here, like she was doing it. So, you know, when people ask for her album, it's just kind of like, girl, she put her time in. She did. She put her time in. And then the other part to that was, she was not a dummy. We're going to get to Beyonce in a minute, because I know the Carters hooked her up, gamed her up, gave her some type of instructions or something. But now she has her Fenty brand, okay? She has her Fenty brand, and baby girl's not going anywhere. She had a baby. Like, she might, I don't know if she's pregnant with another one, I don't know, but like, she's living her best life, really on her own terms, you know. She went through that domestic violence, yes. And then what I don't like about our community is that, you know, we don't hold each other accountable. Like, we're starting to now. I don't know what's going on. It's a shift in our community. We're getting there. We're getting there now. But back in the day, like, it was like so much. Because it's always, well, what did he do and all this other stuff, right? When she went through her thing, and we don't stay on code. We doing it now. We're doing well now. But it's just, at that time, I couldn't imagine, because she wasn't even like completely grown. Like, she was still like maybe in her early 20s, or, you know, teens or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know, like, to be a young adult and to go through that, something so public, right? And then shift your narrative. And I mean, she did have she was out there, you know, having a wonderful time. But it's just like controlling your narrative. Like, yeah, this happened to me, but I'm not going to allow this one thing that happened to me to control how the story ends, right? I'm going to go out here and I'm gonna still sell out these arenas. I'm still gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. She gonna rock it like fashion. She took up into the fashion industry. You know, she might beat me, but she ain't gonna be better dressed than me. That's something that you can always take from Rihanna, really, really. And then capitalizing and then starting Fenty, you know. Now, Fenty as the makeup brand was not the first brand to have all the shades, but I don't know, it just hit different. You know, it hit different. I feel like she capitalized off the fact that we wanted Black-owned brands, you know, Black-owned brands. And it was just, it hit at the right time. Sometimes you have to be in the right place at the right time, right? And she capitalized off that, you know, and I appreciate that. Now, in terms of love and relationships, I don't know, all right? Because she went for A$AP Rocky. Okay, we don't know all the different dynamics of her relationship. I know she was dating a billionaire, but you never know. He could have been really controlling because Janet Jackson was dating a billionaire as well, right? And so you just never know. You just never know what is going on. But she found happiness, right? True happiness. Like, she looks so happy, right? He's taking care of the kids. He's doing everything he's supposed to do. You never hear about, you know, disrespect or anything that would, you know, tarnish her. Well, you know, I'm not gonna say that, but in terms of disrespecting the relationship, okay, you never really hear about that. And, you know, and I really, what I value is Rihanna's business acumen. I think she owned her masters, I'm not sure. And the fact that she don't have to go back to music, especially with all the stuff that's coming out with music, you know, incorporating AI, and then the streams are not making money, you're making pennies on the dollar. I think that it's amazing that she was able to carve out a different lane for herself, right? Her own brand that she can pull from, right? So that is something that we learn, like to I don't want to say, like, we need to create personal brands. The mindset of turning yourself into a personal brand, I think, is really key with Rihanna. Starting your own business, ownership as well. Like, I feel like we start businesses, but we don't always keep the ownership of the business, you know? And I think it's important for us to value ownership. You know, I'm sure she has investors in different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's boardrooms. You got different shares and all the other stuff, you know. But the fact that you own something that is yours, that nobody, it's literally her name. Like, nobody can take it. Robin Fenty, like, nobody can take that. I think that is truly extraordinary. Let me check my list, because I be getting sidetracked, y'all. I be getting so sidetracked. I want to make sure. Yes. Okay. The other part is stop waiting for permission, right? We oftentimes think that we need other people's approval, other people's validation, you know, to do things or to spearhead any of our own ideas, when that is absolutely not the case. You can do, like I said in the other video, the only thing that separates you from anybody else, even the celebrities, is the thought. Just the idea that you deserve to be here. You deserve to be heard. Your story deserves to be shared. Somebody needs to hear it, right? And that like, we're always looking like we need something outside of ourselves. Like, you need somebody to put you on. No, you put yourself on, especially in this age, right? With internet, you got internet connection. Instead of spending all the time scrolling, because I do that. I like to scroll. I use it under the guise of saying I'm looking for ideas, when really all the ideas are inside of my head. I came up with this idea. It was in my notes. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to talk about. It's so many things I want to talk about. I can't talk about everything in one video. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, slow it down, pick something that you feel like is going to be good, but you don't need other people's, you know, validation. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Somebody is going to resonate and it's going to hit somebody, right? Now, in the realm of relationships, I feel like Rihanna redefines what happiness is. All right, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of our women taking the crumbs and accepting the crumbs. I'm tired of it. I seen the award show. I seen the award show and I don't like it. I don't take it too kindly when women are disrespected or even so allow themselves to be disrespected. Or do you even know that this is a sign of disrespect, right? Are you so up in arms that you don't even know that this is a problem? Like, this is normal for you. For you, it's Tuesday. For me, I don't know. We about to lay hands. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you see the type of men that are disrespectful to women, I don't know. That's why I don't be on the internet, and that's why I don't be, when I say I don't be in the celebrity news stuff. I don't. I scroll right on past it because I know I'm going to see something and it's going to get on my nerves. And I don't want anything to get on my nerves because I'd be like, you see what? You see that right there? Absolutely not. And I feel like that is important to talk to your young girls, you know, your teenagers, you're just coming up, and explain to them like certain stuff is not okay. I don't care what they got going on. That's not happening over here. You know, I don't know if it's like, you know, the black mom, she sees something on TV and she be like, see, I better not ever catch, that's me right there. That's me, y'all. Okay. All right. Let's move on to Mariah. I love Mariah. Mariah is my Mariah. Girl, let me tell you about it. First of all, I am a lamb. Okay? I am a lamb. And you probably like, well, why you didn't save Mariah for last? Because you know we got to save. I'm not going to say save the best because most people are going to want to watch Beyonce. But I love Mariah because I feel like Mariah, in terms of the pop girlies now, like even for Beyonce is inspired by Mariah Carey. If you watch her old stuff, you would see that Beyonce would be like, girl, I love how you can fit so many notes into one verse. I love your pen. I love the way you write the songs. Like Mariah Carey has always been on the English language arts, okay? And she has been giving us vocabulary words. Yes, she got a new song coming out. I don't know. I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be disappointed. Sometimes I like to remember people in their best moments. You know what I mean? Anyway, Mariah Carey is main character energy, okay? And the first thing you need to know about Mariah Carey is, did it happen? Did I meet you? I don't remember. It's delusion. It is delusion. But she's also like not allowing other people and their narratives, right? Their things, whatever they got going on to affect you. You know, whatever, like the beef that there is allegedly between her and J-Lo, does it exist? Because Mariah Carey said she never met you. So like, that's one-sided. It's one-sided. It is literally one-sided. She is the epitome of being unbothered. Somebody asked her about Eminem. She's talking about, I'm Godiva. Exactly. I don't know who these people are. Don't ask me about it, right? She keeps her sunglasses, right? So we can shade. Because yeah, she not gonna be in the fluorescent lighting. Always being on your P's and Q's. Always, you never know. And then also, she don't play about her time. She was engaged to a billionaire. Okay, she was engaged to a billionaire, and she sued him for wasting her time, and she won. She did. She won. So when you talk about putting yourself on a pedestal, right? Putting yourself on a pedestal, putting yourself first, I think that is very, very important. Now, I don't know what she was doing with Nick Cannon. I'm not entirely sure. I think she just wanted a friend, but I don't know. I don't know about that. But in terms of like, she has always, I'm not going to say always been like a good mentor, because I know for sure she didn't always like Ariana Grande, you know, whatever. But she came around eventually. She's old. She's older. You know, she's getting, you know, you got to just give them their time, get them their props or whatever. But I just kind of feel like in terms of business, Mariah Carey makes more money. I'm not going to say makes more money. She makes a lot of her money through the writing of her songs. So she knows a lot about the industry on the back end. Whereas most people, and she even advises artists and different things of that nature, she is always putting people on. Like, I remember there was this boy group, they were singing, and she had them open for one of her Vegas shows or something like that. So it's just like, she educates people. Like, even, who is this? Money Long, she used to write for Mariah, or she's still writing for Mariah. The thing is, I like that Mariah Carey is well informed on the industry, and her advice to people, little whippersnappers coming up into the music and entertainment industry, is to find another way to get on, and the glitz and the glam is not always what it's made out to be. You know what I mean? She had a marriage and she married, you know, we're not gonna talk about it, but she did get married, and it was not the best thing. So when you talk about marrying for money and then having a bad experience with that money, you know, because he has this particular identity that she has to live into, and she just couldn't do it, right? Mental breaks and different things of that nature. Prioritizing your mental health is what we learned from Mariah. You know, we learned that it's important to prioritize your mental health. It's important for you to be your own person. Never get in a relationship and they have this idea of who you are, and if you can't be that person 100%, right, then poof, there's the relationship, you know. And then they have to fill that void with someone else, a lookalike or something like that. So I've heard. I ain't hear everything, you know. But it's just kind of like, these are some things that we learn. She's skilled with the pen, so she makes her money with the writing. She's the best. Like, I love Mariah. Okay, I love Mariah. I always respect her. Like, her music got me through some of my toughest times or whatever. Like, yeah, like, I stand for Mariah. I really do. And you know what else I love about Mariah? She not gonna give you too much. She said that I'm gonna do the best with what I got. Mariah Carey said, I'm gonna do the best with what I got. Okay, and I'm gonna be honest, sometimes that ain't even much, okay, because she not gonna give you too much. She just gonna, look, how much are y'all paying for? Y'all not paying too much. And if you paying for all of this extra stuff, look, I have kids, okay, I don't have time to be out here doing all of these different dances and stuff like that. I'm gonna sing my little song and I'm dipping, okay. Back in the day, people don't realize this. Whitney didn't dance. Like, she danced, but not really though, because it was, you know what I'm saying, like, she was good for standing in one spot and singing. Celine Dion, they're gonna stand in one spot and they're going to sing. That's it. That's all, right? So it's just kind of like, hold on, somebody say hello. Hey, Jane. Yes, let me see, hold on. Let me see something, because hold on. I did something to where I could get the chat to show up on the screen, right? So I'm testing it. You know, you can't do it until, and it's not showing up. I don't know, but I see you, girl. I don't know. I really did try to do it today, to figure out the featured chat thing. You know, they have those instructions on these things, and then you just be like, girl, I tried. We're gonna have to do a live test. Okay, let me check my notes, see if I had anything else to say about Mariah. Yeah, and so I don't know what chat talking about her eternal 12-year-old mindset, staying in connected with joy, wonder, and possibility. I'm gonna be honest, I do think that is a little sign of I feel like she's always connected to her inner child, yes, but I do think that is like a trauma defense thing, so I don't want to talk about it. But the thing is, she's always doing and prioritizing her happiness, you know, prioritizing her happiness, prioritizing herself, her lighting, everything, okay. Hold on, this thing is acting weird. Okay. What did I do? I don't know what I did. Okay. All right. Anyway, we're going to move on to Beyonce. So proud of myself. 30 minutes in. All right. Beyonce is going to be a very loaded. Okay. Back when Beyonce was in Destiny's Child, I'm going to be honest with you, nobody really, like, even with the revelations that we have from Miss Tina Knowles, you know, nobody at the time in the 2000s really was banking on Destiny's Child. Now, for me, Destiny's Child was the bee's knees. I love Destiny's Child. But when you're talking about the greater Hollywood environment, then I could see, you know what I mean? Back then, I thought that their fashions were top notch, you know, very innovative, creative, you know, but, you know, they didn't feel that way. But I feel like it's always these other demographics and these other environments that just don't get it, you know, and I don't feel like it's a necessity for us to, you know, have their opinions to hold weight on us. I think that that's something that we're moving past, is relying on the others to tell you who you are and what is worthy and great about your culture, right? And so we love Destiny's Child, okay? I listened to it earlier today, okay? Freedom, all right? So good to be free if I don't pick up the phone. Right? I love Destiny's Child, but the underdog is what we learn about Beyonce. They counted her out. I remember a time when people felt like Kelly was going to be the breakout star, and they just didn't see it for Beyonce because it was something about vocal lessons. It was a lot. Now, you know, sometimes people like to rewrite history, but back then, you know, people had their different ideas of who was going to be the breakout star. You know, I think that even Beyonce wanted to keep the group together, you know, contrary to what most people think or whatever. But I really love the fact that Beyonce really sticks it out for the underdog. Even moving from Destiny's Child, moving into her first album, record execs did not think that she was going to have as many hits as she did. And even moving on to her other albums, she had more success than people were just counting her out. You know, what I do like is that she didn't rely on her relationship with Jay-Z. In fact, Jay-Z wrote a song where he was upset, like he was really feeling some type of way that Beyonce was choosing her career over him. Like he was really in his feelings about that. Like, but the thing is, she didn't want to rely. She wanted to create something for herself. Did they like each other? Did they have a relationship? Absolutely. Wasn't he doing her wrong? Absolutely. But she had a goal. She had a dream. She had a vision. She never let relationships to dictate, you know, her success, right? She didn't let other people's opinions dictate her success. She didn't let none of that. All she cared about is succeeding, success, working as hard as she does. She works very hard. Okay, she works all the time. She is at her, she go to practice, professionalism. People talk about how professional she is, right? She puts everybody on. If you working with a brand, or not a brand, like just people, like all the different people that have to do with the song, right? She puts them on the song as a writer, even though they probably only did what? Patty cake. They might have just added one little thing on there. She gonna give you something, okay? And I feel like that is good. So when people are like, oh, she can't write her songs, she can't do this, she can't. Whitney wasn't writing songs. Whitney was singing songs because she had things to do. Whitney was going to the mall, okay? She like, I ain't got time for this. Yeah, I need a song. So when somebody give her a song talking about shooby-doo, she felt some type of way about that. I love that song, okay? Waiting to Exhale, that is my movie. So it's just kind of like, I don't understand why people be so upset at the fact that, you know, Beyonce is not, she ain't got time to be writing a song. She putting all this other stuff together, you know, and she might write her songs, but it's just kind of like, I feel like we have a problem with women becoming too successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't be too successful. You can't be too much. You can't do too much, right? You can't be too big to fail. They always looking for any little thing. Any little thing. Now, I will say, in terms of business, I really like what she did with Parkwood. Now that, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, right? Because her dad is a businessman. Okay, now he might have some problems, you know, yeah, but he is a businessman and hipped her to the game. Okay, Jay-Z, businessman, right? So she learns from her circle. So in Beyonce's, if she keeps her circle small, right, she might send you a birthday card, but we're not friends, girl. You know what I'm saying? I was just saying happy birthday. That's all that is. It ain't all of that. You know what I'm saying? But what I really, really like is that she networks and she keeps, you know, a very tight-knit circle. And everybody in her circle is either up, you know what I'm saying? Or she pulling them up, right? Giving them some type of opportunity and putting them up. Even, you know, with the twins, you know, doing really well with the twins, Chloe and Haley. I wish she would do a better job at communicating relationship dynamics, right? I wish we would do a better job at communicating, you know, what is acceptable and unacceptable. At the same time, you have to crawl before you walk, because Beyonce and Jay-Z didn't always have a wonderful little love story. You know what I mean? They didn't know she had a whole album, but you know what? What I like about Beyonce is that she doesn't put all her business out on the front street. Is it important to have communication and dialogue? Yes. But at the same time, as Denzel would say, nobody's going to pay for all this, your records and everything like that. He said your movies, if you always in their face. You have to sometimes pull yourself back. And so we have more questions then we have answers coming from her, right? And she don't, like, people be talking about her and she don't even, like, I just let it go in one ear. Now, she don't even really interview like that. So she controls her narrative, right? Silence controls the narrative. In one of my old videos, I told y'all that unless you share it, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Yes, it happened because you experienced it, but you don't have to, and it's not oh, you coming off as weak, but it's just like, you can be confiding to people and they'll use what you confided into them, right, as some type of something. They hold it against you, you know, and use it against you. So oftentimes, even if you're working on something big, or even if you're going through something, silence is going to be the best option. Now, I don't believe in suffering in silence. Like, if you have trusted people that you can talk to, absolutely. But just telling people what you're going through, no. And then the other thing is clout. Like, I feel like now in celebrity culture is more about clout. It's more about, there's no training. No training whatsoever, you know. And so you see a lot of things going on. You read these blogs and these Instagram reels, and you're in people's face too much, right? And so people are overwhelmed and just tired, right? We're tired because what y'all going through, you know what I mean? And so you lose ground that way. I like that she holds that in. She controls the narrative of her brand, right? Everything is controlled. You curate your experiences. So Mariah curates her experiences for herself, but Beyonce curates the experience of what other people think. Now, she can't control whether people like her, and you can't. You can't control it. But you know what? You can still be successful, and you can never let anyone else hold you back because of what other people think. People didn't think she was going to be the breakout star. People were saying that she couldn't sing. Now, that is real. Now, people can take it how everyone take it and everything like that. But it's just like, yes, thank you, girl. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was Jim Jones. You're right. It was Jim Jones. Yes. Okay. I'm reading the chat. I'm going to figure out this chat. But anyway, back to Beyonce. Whew. All right. I like that she's able to have her soft side. you know, and be strong at the same time. Like oftentimes when you think about femininity, it's like we always have to be in the pink, right? You got to wear your pink. You got to be dainty, very delicate, very, you know what I'm saying? But you can be a multitude of things, you know? All of the celebrities, like I said, was talking about ageism, right? So ageism, making sure that even when you reach a certain age, you can take care of yourself and you can still be successful. Success doesn't stop and happiness doesn't stop. Your value doesn't stop after you hit 25, 26, 27. Right? You can still be happy and successful and have and find love and even have kids, right? In your older, not saying older, but just like as you grow. Because especially like me, I'm 31, about to be 32. That is so helpful, so helpful. So challenging the narrative on that, challenging the narrative on what it is to be a woman and be successful. A lot of times people think that if you're going to be a woman and you're going to be successful, you have to look a certain type of way. Like you have to wear your hair a certain type of way. You have to wear, you know, got to wear your suits and different things of that nature. But seeing different women be successful in their areas without, like, you know, and then navigating other people's opinions. A lot of these industries are male dominated, but going in and providing more visibility, right? More visibility to other women so that they can go even further than they did. You know, I really appreciate that. Now, something I wish that they would do, but this has less to do with the artist and more about, I don't know what's going on. We need to work on we need to work on development of the artist, right? Development, communication, right? PR and different things of that nature, because older celebrities, you know, get it, but the younger ones don't, because we've lived our entire lives on social media. And so we feel like we can put so many, like just everything on social media, and these things follow you, you know? You have to control your brand. You have to control your image. You have to control all these different things. These are lessons that we can learn. Regular people can learn about celebrity, right? And when I'm talking about celebrity, I'm talking about people that actually did it, not just, you know, and I understand social media and everything like that, but you have to have your chops. You have to have your chops. You know, I get it. Blowing up on social media makes you successful. It does. But you also, like, you have to have that aura. The problem that we're having right now is that the industry is feeling like they don't have a celebrity. They don't have a pop star. They don't have something for people to look toward, right? You know, they're always trying to give you something to believe in. I think we should believe in ourselves, right? And we should take these symbols of success, these women, and incorporate that into our own regular day lives. Okay, you need to curate your own experiences. You need to control your narrative. You need to be unapologetic, and you need to know your worth. Okay, yeah, I'm so proud of myself. I got it down to 43 minutes. Woo! 43 minutes. 43 with, look, I'm not gonna lie, y'all, my wig keeps sliding back. I put an elastic band in here, and then I don't know what's going on. It's getting on my nerves. I don't want to fix it on camera, but ooh, something that I think is going to do really well is that because everything is like Chat GPT and like AI, there's going to be a rise in people choosing to do more, I'm not gonna say live stream, but just like real content from real people, real perspectives, right? I don't know, but I'm done. I'm doing Q&A if we have anything in the chat. I'm super proud of myself for trying to keep this nice and short. I hope I was making sense. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm so happy that y'all, I'm gonna figure out what's going on with this chat so I can see. So shout out to Jane Toussaint. Oh, listen, we can do that one next. I wanted to keep the video short. Hold on, let me write it down. Hold on. Or maybe, do we need a part 2? Do we need a part 2? Do we need one? Hold on. I love Tracy Ellis Ross. Hold on. I'm going to write it down. So if y'all, because y'all can't see the chat, Jane said Tracy Ellis Ross and Lori Harvey. I gotta figure out the chat, girl. You know I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, it said Tracy Ellis Ross and Lori Harvey have mindsets that I admire. They prioritize themselves, and I'm here for it. Let me tell you, I love Tracy Ellis Ross. Like, I love that she has been able to have as much success that she's had. She would be what people would consider as a Nepo baby, but she has really stood out there on her own, right? And she doesn't fit the generic mold of, you know, a black actress. She does a lot. Like, she's for the culture, really, okay? And she is truly satisfied with being single, okay? And she's not actively looking for a man. And she is the definition of, when it's all over, please get your things and leave, okay? Period, right? I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I really do. Now, I did not like Joan like that, for real. Joan on Girlfriends, girl. But here's the thing. Growing up, I loved Girlfriends, the show. I didn't watch Sex and the City. I didn't watch that show. Well, probably because my mama, my mama was like, what you watching that for? You know, so I watched Girlfriends. I feel like the subject matters were the same, but I watched Girlfriends. I didn't watch, yeah. So I recently started watching that. And I was like, I see why my mama said I need to watch Girlfriends. Girlfriends was definitely better, but John was irritating. But I love Tracy Ellis Ross. I used to want my hair like hers. I like that because my hair is that texture, but it was just like, girl, it's too much work. It's too much work. But yeah, I love Tracy Ellis Ross. And then you gotta put it up there for Lori. Lori be having these dudes in their chest. Like, they can't breathe. They just not feeling it. You know what I'm saying? Because she just leaves them on red completely. And she is another person as well that controls her narrative. Lori don't talk that much. You never hear about, you know, something disrespectful happening to her. And I'm going to say, what do you mean by disrespect? I mean, like, the stuff that Cardi B was going through, right? I don't ever recall a moment where Lori was going through some of the things that Cardi had going on in her thing. In fact, all we know is that she was in a relationship and she broke up with him. And she got another one. And she's the epitome of, girl, get another one. Get another one. You are the prize, you know? And you don't have to argue your wealth. I mean, your value, your worth to it. You don't have to make him believe nothing. Just get another one. He'll find out. He will learn the lesson when you get another one. Something else I saw on social media, then we're going to shut it down, was it was 4 people. It was who was it? Hold on, I got it. Brain fart. Okay. It was Cardi B. It was I forgot her name just that quick. Anyway, hold on, I'm gonna find it real quick. I'm finding it right now. It was Cardi B. It was something else. It was like 4 women, and they were all like, what do they have in common? What do we learn from them? It was an Instagram thread, and it was basically like, one, just because you got kids, that don't mean that you can't find love. See, that's the propaganda that I should have said on Monday. Just because you got kids does not mean that you can't be in a relationship. Okay? All right, hold on. Let me see. Oh, I can see all the ones that I liked. Cardi B stepped up and got her a different man. Proud of her. I can't think of the other one. It was another lady. And she is really, really good. She is, I think her name started T. Anyway, she was married to a basketball player. And girl, he wanted to sue her for child support. That's another thing. Yeah. See, stuff like that irritate me. That's why I can't be all up in the celebrity news, because I would be acting up. Tiana, you got it. You got it. Listen. Woo, she got her new man too. But let me tell you, these men be out of pocket, because as soon as you be like, ooh, how about you just have full custody? Oh, it would be crickets then. So it's just kind of like, why are you doing all of that? Why are you doing? But that ain't even the point of the video. That ain't. But I like Tiana Taylor. Tiana Taylor does a very good job with her brand. Now, she do be in the blogs a little bit, right? But I feel like she has toned it down, and she is a creative genius, okay? So if we need to do a part 2 with some, I'm not gonna say more relevant celebrities, but just like maybe some celebrities that are like in this day and age or whatever, I don't know. I don't really be, I just see stuff in passing, and I just be like, oh, that would be a great idea. It was on my list. It was on my list. But yeah, I love all of these people. So yeah, anyway, it is 50 minutes. Thank you so much for coming to the live. I really appreciate it. I will see you on Friday. All right, now y'all let me know real quick before we go. I had the idea to do propaganda I am falling for. I don't know. I didn't want it to be too matchy, but I feel like we talked about propaganda I'm not falling for. Should we talk about propaganda I am falling for? Or should we talk about, I don't know. I just be having good ideas. What you think? What you think? And that's going to be the next video. And then let me see my other list. Hold on. I had another. I just be having ideas, and I just be like, let's have a good time. Let's have a wonderful time. You know, I think that's what we might do. Propaganda I am falling for. But it's really not propaganda. You know what I mean? It's not propaganda. It's just, I don't know what else. The propaganda I am falling for is just what the search engine will pick up. But it's really not like a bad thing or anything like that. But I will see y'all in the next video. If you have ideas, let me know. All right, we're gonna be here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thank you. Okay, we'll do that. Propaganda I am falling for. We'll do that. Let me write that down before I forget. Girl, my wig is sliding back. You see it? Woo, I installed a wig band on there, and it's irritating me. Okay, I will see y'all on Friday. All right, thank you so much. I love y'all. Woo!